And just like that, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, classic WoW enthusiasts and lovers the world over, welcome back to Good Morning Azeroth, episode number 33. It's been a hell of a ride. I'm joined today by the lads, Defcamp and Dunedain. How are you guys today? This Alliance music blasting in my ear. It is quite loud, but maybe that's a good thing. It's getting everyone excited, getting everyone hyped. Phase 2. Dunedain, how are you, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm back with the living, I guess. It's been a good week. Lots of things happened in WoW, so lots to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, you had a little medical issues there, but it looks like you're back from the dead, dude. You were resurrected.
Yeah, Defcamp kind of resurrected me, I suppose.
Yep.
True. Oh, true.
Rank 5 resurrection.
Per our tradition, Defcamp, you know what to do, man. You know what to do. Give it to the
All
people,
right, you guys
dude.
ready?
Give it to the people. Give it to the
Good
people.
morning, Azeroth. Let's go. Phase 2, baby. Kill him. Red, it's dead. You know how we do.
If it's red, it's dead. Defcamp said it. Is this the same Defcamp that was saying, come transfer to our server alliance to let you kill him all over and over again?
Yeah.
It's like a new Defcamp. Snapple's up, boys. Chimley's in the house. Good to see you in here, Chimley.
Oh, Chim in the house.
Chimney, you get married, brother?
Chim.
You a married man? What's up, everybody on YouTube, on Twitch? Thanks for hanging out today. We're just getting started. Today, the name of the game, of the show, of the episode is Phase 2, for the most part. There's a little kind of secret retrospective propaganda topic I want to bring up later, and I didn't even tell Defcamp or Dunedain. I just it's been marinating up top for a little bit, for a few weeks now, and I just want to get it off my chest. I just want to get it off my chest. So should be a fun time. Should be a fun time. All right, so we did our little catch up.
Really going to Ally, man? Like, what's the deal, for real?
It's not that I'm not trying to overhype it. It's nothing that crazy. It's gonna be. I was trying to think about classic WoW. The before, the beginning, where we are now, after.
Yeah.
Like, just think about the whole journey of before the game even came out, and I was just trying to analyze things, and I just had some feedback I want to share it with our brothers and sisters of the internet. So anyway, we'll get into it. Saw you last night at BRM. We destroyed the ally, dude.
Yes.
Scare him though. What server you guys playing at, Leo? Let's get a little excited here. We're gonna get to know each other a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see where everybody's coming out from.
I just got my ass handed to me by Rise a minute ago. Just got camped like.
Oh no.
5 in a row. So trying to make my way over to DM.
Dude.
And fucking. I mean, all I gotta say is I know we camped the same people yesterday over and over again. So that's how it is, though, right? I mean, you win some, you lose some. You're not always gonna come out on top.
Dude, Rise are some gamers, man. Rise are some gamers, man.
Yo, can I just say that they are on a fucking server that's like 80% horde, whatever, and they're one of the top guilds like in the world. You know?
The Alliance on Skyrim, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Skyrim is one of the most imbalanced. I don't even like that word because it makes it seem like the Alliance are losing. There's the server, the faction disparity is the largest, right? So the Alliance on Skyrim, it's probably like something like 80-20 or something like that. They are getting battle hardened.
Oh yeah.
They are getting battle hardened.
There's some badass dudes, for real. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And like about it, like they don't take it personal. Like they'll just kill you. Like they're not gonna sit there and like. Cry or blah 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 blah. Like no, they're gamers, dude. Like they come to work and then that's it. Like they're not the kind of like all talk people. Like they'll kill your ass and just leave you dead and like camp you for a while and then they'll come back later. They're not gonna sit there and camp you like for an hour, maybe like 2-3 times and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We killed Code Blue yesterday for the first time, which was cool. He was a big friend of the channel. He's on our server now, and. I guess we'll get into it, but my one little thing is now it's gotta feel like Lord of the Rings or something like so the whole Alliance versus Horde dynamic, right? It almost feels like sometimes the Alliance are these holy, good guys in this uncharted savage land, and you're fighting masses of savage orcs and trolls and stuff like that. It's kind of very much in the
that's what we are
in the theme of that though, like the balance. So like if I'm Alliance and it's 80-20, like you really feel like you're the heroes in some action movie or something. Like you're fighting these swarms of horde everywhere you go and
they're not
cleansing
they're
the
just
lands.
as bad, if not worse.
The Alliance, true.
I mean, look at them, dude. They enslaved the orcs. Like, come on. Like, what's up with that shit, you know?
True. Us humans have been known to do that. Yeah.
80-20 feels pretty bad, though.
I don't know if it's really 80-20, though. Like, can we get an actual number on Skyrim? Like, the last I saw was like 70-30.
So
yeah, you can actually try and guess it. We just had some server migration, so I did some statistical work. Let's say you can try and do /who 60 and then the class, and then if it's not too high numbers, you can kind of guess the amount of Fort and Alliance. But
so NC Block says if legit feels like 25-75
on Skyrim.
I would guess that. I don't think it's as bad as 80-20. I think 75-25 is about right.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it does feel like it might be 80-20. I don't know. It depends on the time, right, too. At highest population times, right, I would say it's probably around 75-25.
Let me say, though, I thought it was going to feel worse than it was feeling yesterday. So we PvP'd pretty much the whole night yesterday, since 2 o'clock to whenever. And we were still finding Alliance. Like, you know, you had to do a little bit of searching. You had to get a little tip here, a little tip there.
Dig a little bit.
You know, get a little intel, put a couple cams out there, a little scout. But you know, they were out there, right? So I was thinking maybe it would be worse than that. Like, you couldn't. The worst case scenario would be like you want to PvP, but you can't for the life of you find anyone to fight, right? And we were finding people to fight, and the Alliance. We'll talk about how a big kind of imbalance in terms of faction will skew the ranking meta, the world PvP. Also, isn't this like a new ranking meta in general? Like, even some of the serious rankers who have ranked on private servers, they're not world PvP ranking in the same vein, right? Like this, this is a strange new kind of world. People are testing out a bunch of strats, and
let me just say, I've never experienced this, right? So when I came into vanilla WoW, either BGs were just about to come out or they had just come out, and even though, because I was still leveling when they came out, so the first BGs like AV. So I didn't get to experience that, the just world PvP side of it. And then on every private server I played on, the BGs are out pretty early on. And I think there was a little bit of time where there was only world PvP, but it wasn't long like we're going to have here in actual classic WoW. So this is actually like the first time for me that I'm experiencing like this whole amount of time to rank up in with only world PvP. So I'm actually pretty excited for this.
Same for me actually. But I think we all are lucky that we are 60. If you're now at the level 50 zone, you're pretty much doomed.
Can we get some pogs in the chat for Dunedain? No, you hit 60, right? This is
have
you been 60 for a minute?
When did I hit 60? Probably 3 weeks ago. But
3 weeks ago.
It's been a while since I was on the show.
That's right. Well, congrats anyway, man. I don't know if we've ever formally good, but that's
congrats, brother.
That's awesome.
And he's got his epic Pally mount.
Yeah, indeed. But some big news actually. We switched servers today, so we might probably want to talk a little bit about why and
Mograne
in general. Maybe we were on Mograne and now we are on Bloodfang. Since maybe just an hour now. We did some nice RP walking in Ironforge and stuff, so that was already nice. But basically there's, in my opinion at least, many people like it, but in my opinion there's quite a big problem in EU if you look at server sizes. We have servers like Mograne, where we came from, and some others, which are full, but not just full, they are really, really full. Since the one layer, you can only start to appreciate now how many people actually are on the server. If you log in prime time between 6 and 11, let's say, in Ironforge, you can't see the floor even. It's just so packed. And now with phase 2, if you go in the outside world, you're just dead wherever you go. And even before, it was really hard. You could basically not farm anything in the open world.
Right.
So there were some issues, and we were looking to move to a different server. For a while, we did it in the beginning too. So look for it, but now we decided,
Do you think it's because you guys had so little choice early on that, because you only have it was what, you had 4 servers or something like that?
Yeah, we started with 2, and then
the mega servers, right? Oh, the 2, right? Yeah.
right before
2
launch,
PvP.
we had I think 8 PvP servers, just before launch, the day it launched, a few hours before, and Mokrane, or maybe 9. Mokrane was one of those 5 or 4 new servers that launched 2 hours before the game actually launched. But all those servers are full right now, and many of them are the same population as Mokrane. And like I say, many people actually enjoy being on a massive server, but I always like to be on a vanilla size server, and it simply doesn't exist, so we cannot. Well, it's impossible to find such a server on EU. But now in Bloodfang, it feels, for what I've seen, and we did quite some research, feels pretty good actually. I think we can find ourselves in the community now, and recognize people, and be that guy that can make Lionheart Helm. Or be that guy.
How much research did you go into to transferring to Bloodfang? Because
how much?
Okay, research. Because let me shout this out. People in Skyrim, some people might feel. I know Farmus feels a certain way about this, but so Skyrim was super, imbalanced in people's eyes. So Blizzard offered server transfers, and a bunch of Alliance and Horde or whatever people that were unhappy with the current situation, they transferred off to Heartseeker and Arcanite Reaper, and apparently those servers are like dead. And like that's got to feel like one of the worst things if you transfer to a server thinking it's going to be better, but it's even worse, dude. You think Bloodfang is?
It's definitely not
going to make it.
I'm very positive on it. I cannot foresee the future. But...
See, I think the reason why though is because your servers were already so big to begin with that your overflow servers were bound to be big as well. You know, Skyrim was a good sized server, but our overflow servers weren't, not so to speak overflow, right? They're not exactly overflow servers, but they just didn't get enough traction. And I feel like a lot of those people who left are now like, fuck, I left. We had it in chat the other, I think a couple weeks ago, of people who left the server, and they were saying, some of them were saying, worst mistake I ever made.
I was hearing that, and then there's that, but we also know that in the internet, there's usually just a vocal minority that likes to speak up really loud and start reeing like crazy. The thing that I wonder though is apparently Heartseeker is the opposite problem of Skyrim. It's more Alliance than Horde, right? There's some people in Heartseeker playing there in the chat. They'll be able to chime in on this, but
it's also really low power.
If there was no server transfers at all from the jump, and we just had our original Skyrim gang, what do you guys think? Where would we be today? I feel like the factions would be a little bit closer.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Probably be almost 60-40, honestly.
60. Yeah.
Maybe like 65-35, but still. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I don't know. It's hard to say, but I definitely think it would be a lot closer than what we have right now.
You think many Alliance actually left the server because
a lot of Alliance left,
and that's because it's imbalanced from the start, or what?
And that's why now it's even more imbalanced, Dunedain over here. So, yeah.
Laggy mass HK trading is the PvP equivalent of dungeon cleave. That is a hard-hitting comment, Fresh Fox. I want to be talking about this. This ties into the secret topic I want to talk about in a little bit.
Shit.
It ties into it a little bit. I want you guys to remember what he said. Laggy mass HK trading. But he said laggy mass HK trading is the PvP equivalent of dungeon cleave. Now, let me take a few steps back, though. All right, let me take a few steps back. Yesterday, Phase 2 came out. World Bosses came out. Rank 14 PvP system came out. Like, I just want to start there. And the World Bosses, we killed one of them, right? We killed Azeroth.
Azeroth killed first. I think, unless anyone else comes out and said it, was confirmed so far to be the first Azeroth kill ever.
Out of all servers?
For Invictus,
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Mind Games killed, it was on our server.
Kazakh, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like the meta has changed, man. The meta has changed. So yesterday, Phase 2 started. It's Doomsday. It's I just wanted to start there. So so much has changed in that time. I'll tell you. Like, people are out there just brawling nonstop, massive battles. And in that vein, one of the first places we stepped out to, Defcamp. I don't know if you were there. Did you participate in that South Shore versus Hillsbrad battle? For a little bit?
No, that's where you guys got the DHK though, right?
We got one DHK there, but I don't think
I joined you guys right after that. Yeah.
That was That was mad fun though. To me, I know it was a laggy HK, you know, trading fest or whatever, but I thought that was so epic, dude. Like we had hundreds of alliance versus hundreds of horde.
Oh yeah,
fighting out in the open like that, and you literally have you know, multiple areas of the battle. You have this kind of right flank that was way off on the right doing their own thing, the left flank doing stuff way off on their own thing. You have this middle sort of death ball smashing into each other. It felt like you were really in a war, you know. If they could solve that lag problem or whatever that is, it would be some of the most fun you could ever have playing video games.
So was the lag a little bit better though? Because when I experienced the lag when we were there for like Kazakh and shit, it wasn't that bad, but
it was a little better than a couple weeks ago. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. I felt like the lag was better.
I was still able to dot people up, so I was able to play a little bit, but it was definitely laggy, and basically borderline unplayable. But at the same time, I was able to get like one global off on a guy before they would just disintegrate or whatever. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. It was just so epic to see that many people button heads.
Yeah,
South Shore.
I always loved Tower Mill versus South Shore. But yeah, you got to be very careful. And like, I don't know what the effect of an actual DHK is right now, since you don't actually have any honor. Because it's supposed to go. Does it go for the honor that you already have, or I'm pretty sure you'll be penalized somewhat. But like, when you're this low at ranking, it's not going to have a big effect. Like, if you get a DHK and you're rank 11, yeah, it's going to have a huge effect.
I don't think it affects you at all right now. So someone chime in the chat too if you think this is wrong. But I think DHKs, they reduce your RP, like your standing in real time. But if we're all rank 1
or rank 0,
shouldn't matter. Rank 0, I mean, we're all.
I didn't know that. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, everyone's rank 0 right now.
People were scared it was gonna like mitigate a bunch of the honor they've earned. I think it only detracts from like your current standing up until that point when you get the DHK. I could be wrong though. My understanding is that you accumulate honor. The honor goes to your contribution points for the week. That is processed through on a Tuesday, and you're given RP, and you move up in the ranks that way. So I won't be testing it, lol. Yeah. But yeah,
let's get some people out to test it.
So South Shore vs. Hillsbrad was dope. That was a lot of fun. And building off that, the meta of ranking. How do you feel about the meta right now of trying to get that honor, Defcamp?
I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like there are some people, like you said, out there right now who have like 5K on it. Like, yeah, you got to put a lot of fucking time into it, man. I don't think some people realize just how time intensive it is. And if you want to be the best at it, you got to have a group of people who know what they're doing, who are, you know, committed to spending like 8 hours a day just farming honor. So, man, like, here's the thing. I really, like, I want to rank, I do, and I want to potentially get up to at least rank 11. I want to get my full blue PvP set. That's my goal, right? But I don't know if I'm going to have the time to, like, you know, do this fucking hardcore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel you, man.
I'm going. I didn't participate in yesterday's PvP fest because I transferred. That was fun too, but you only have phase 2 launch every 2 years maybe. So I'm going to try and do some PvP soon, and I'm really looking forward to the Reckoning spec, as you might imagine. Just one-shotting people as a holy paladin, I think.
Yeah.
But rank 14, it's quite impossible, right? So I think the blue set is a good goal to go for Defcamp.
Yeah, like I said, like, you know, the amount of time you got to spend each day ranking right now, and it all depends on, like, you know, your server versus like how everyone else is ranking. A lot of it doesn't just, like, you know, there's no set amount like, okay, you need this much honor to get to this rank. It's not how it works, right? It depends on how many other people are ranking, you know, the size of your server and all this, the faction, and, you know, so
that's another reason, by the way, we could not stay on Mokrane. If you want to have any decent rank there, as a semi-casual player, that's not going to happen.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, I kind of feel like the alliance is a little bit more So the alliance on our server, right? There's not a lot of them, but however, there's horde wherever they go. So if they want to rank, they get themselves like the guild Rise right now. They were outside of DM, just farming everyone on their way to DM with like 20 something people. They're going to be able to rank pretty much a lot easier than the horde would, right? Because there's fucking everywhere. So honestly,
people were linking me pictures last night of people with like 4.4k honor kills. I don't know if they photoshopped that or for the alliance. Yeah. I mean, I think it's man. I mean, yeah, you die a lot, but at the same time, it's got to be pretty epic, man, being an alliance. No, hold up. No. Let me. I might have to eat my words if I was in their position. That's why we need an alliance representative here on the on the panel, to tell us how it is.
Skyrim, you mean?
It sounds like you'd be kind of sick if you weren't streaming. Let me put it that way. If you were streaming and it was 80-20, then it's Nikki night all day, all night. Then it's usually. I'm not gonna lie. I feel sometimes a little bit comforted being on the majority faction while streaming because you feel
okay.
That you feel safe, like if you get wiped, you just got to put out the bat signal and like 300 Zugzugs will come rolling up in force, dude. You love to see it.
In general, I kind of like being the slight underdog. If I could choose, I would always be the slight underdog.
Yeah.
Slight underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 48-52. That's perfect, I think. Something like that.
48-52.
As an alliance on Skyrim, it's horrible. Straight up ruined the game for us. Yikes.
Wow. Now, what guild are you in? I'd imagine the people in some of the bigger guilds have a little bit of a better time. But, like, you guys out there are just like a normal guild. I'm sure it's not that much fun. But there are some people out there, some alliance groups, that are tearing shit up right now on Skyrim. So
they are. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them, man.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I want to talk about too. The meta of ranking, at least on Skyrim, and I think most servers are horde favored. Maybe not as dramatic as on our server, but this is my question. It's not even a statement. There's no guide here. There's no knowledge dump here. This is really just a question to you guys because this is really the first time I'm going about ranking in a somewhat serious way. Now, again, my hopes of being some Gen 1 rank 14 gamer are pretty much squashed at this point. I have a good amount of holiday plans coming up, and I'm just trying to be realistic here. But people were telling me that the most efficient way to farm honor is to form small groups and to, go out there and farm really efficiently with as little people as possible, stay out there for as long as possible. But my question to you guys is that on these servers where the faction imbalance is so large, the alliance are kind of forced to deathball more IMO. They're forced to form larger groups, raids as opposed to small hit squads, because a small hit squad of alliance maybe just doesn't have the numbers to win a lot of these fights with the sheer amount of density of a horde. You kind of have to reach that critical point. So is it still the best way to farm honor if you're on if you're playing on a server that has similar conditions right now, to form these small groups, or is it to form maybe a medium-sized raid and go out there and wipe people? That's what we ended up doing last night. The alliance would play hit and run with us. They would go come through an area, genocide everything in their path, and portal out real quick, go to another area, and we're always like kind of chasing them down. I don't know. What do you think?
Pretty cool that those strategies already evolved, I would say. So I couldn't imagine it. I thought World PvP would just be like one big giant kill fest. But it's nice. Alliance comes up with some good stuff. I think what you say makes sense, a lot of sense, actually. But only on those massive servers with a big faction imbalance. Otherwise, I feel like it's still better to go with the small, few healers and a few
I like
DPS
having
groups.
like 10 to 15 people with me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like more than that. And you're gonna run into a group like especially if you're in Tower Mill versus South Shore, you're gonna run into some bigger groups. Maybe if you're going out there to like get yourself into a raid group. But if you want to try to rank relatively, and get the most out of your honor, I wouldn't recommend going with more than like 10 or 15 people. I think 10 people is a pretty good sweet spot where you have enough people with you that you can go out and find some groups, do some PvP. And like I said, there's enough alliance right now on our server that there are these groups out there like Rise, like some really good PvPers on the alliance side that are coming out and having some really nice matchups. So it's not always just oh my god, the hordes are coming through and stopping everyone on the alliance, which it is a lot of that right now on our server. On our server, unfortunately, but there are some actually good pockets of alliance groups that you can have some nice PvP with. So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be difficult, honestly, on some servers to rank up for both Horde and Alliance right now. And that's why, like, for me right now, I'm kind of taking it semi-seriously, you know, getting as much honor as I can without, you know, kind of just hunting people all day long. To me, that's not that much fun. I want to have, you know, kind of have as much natural fun as I can while doing dungeons, while going to raids, and then every once in a while, every few hours, you know, per day, get in a group with some buddies and trying to get in some skirmishes and shit like that. So that's kind of my take on it right now.
I'm on the same page with you, bro. I'm not gonna go super hard, I don't think, anymore. I'm gonna at least get rank 10, and we'll see what happens from there. But a couple observations. One, I was curious to see the impact on mentality Phase 2 would have on people, because prior to Phase 2 releasing, everyone felt like they always had something better to do than PvP. And sometimes I'll put the bat signal out and be like, yo, Alliance are pushing Kargoth right now. Come on, everybody, come over here, Kargoth. Get a few bites here and there, but it was very underwhelming. It was good to see that as soon as Phase 2 drops, everybody and their mama was out there PvPing, and they were looking for blood, dude. They had that look in their eyes, dude. They were ready to go on both sides. People were talking mad shit in the PvP channel, which was kind of cool. They weren't crossing that line, you know, but they were, you know, scalping each other and doing all that. That was so much fun. The other thing I'd like to say is that the economy, man, with DM out now and PvP being the way it is so crazy. Everybody's going broke.
Oh yeah.
Who's making that gold is my question. Someone's out there caking, right? Like
I have 12 gold right now.
Yeah, I have 24 gold right now.
I have like 1K right now, but it's like
I am negative 170 gold right now, something like that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm negative too, actually.
Yeah.
I'm in debt still.
Sappers were like, how much were Sappers last night? Like 5 gold a pop or something, because they kept getting bought out every single time.
Fucking free action pots, like.
Yeah, I have a decent stockpile, not too much. I could have been definitely more prepared, but the prices in general across the board have gone way up.
The economy was getting just DM being out, right? And now that, you know, a lot more things have become in need, you get the supply and demand more now that you didn't have before. You have a lot of you know, herbs that are going back up in price and things like that. And even if they're not, they're being bought out more. So you have things actually being sold and you can make money off of them. So I think it's good. Now the question is, right, with all this being happening, people are seeing how much, you know, they're having fun doing PvP. Then they have some people complaining about, oh, you know, there's only world PvP out right now, so the people that are leveling are having shitty experience. Do you think this will push Blizz to want to put out the next phase sooner, or maybe do something like they did with DM and have a patch 2.5 where they release the battlegrounds first? Do you think they might do a patch 2.5 AV WG Worse on Gulch patch, right?
I totally expected it before the launch of phase 2 that they would add the battleground sooner.
You
but
mean
now
for the launch of phase 3?
Yeah, exactly. But now I'm not quite sure if people have that much fun in world PvP. They might just not do it. On the other hand, if you're leveling, you're pretty much doomed.
Right.
So depends what side you look at it from, right?
I could see them within a month or two doing like a patch 2.5.
With
and
BGs?
Releasing BGs, yeah. I could honestly see them doing that.
Would be it makes sense for the overall health of the game, but it would take a lot of fun away too.
But again, like you said, this is the only time right now that we have.
Here's a point, though. I have a point. I have a counterpoint.
Yeah.
And this is gonna again tie into the secret sauce topic I want to talk about later.
Okay.
Man, maybe I should just bring it up now, dude. I don't even know. So I feel you. I want BGs to come out, right? I want BGs to come out. Trust me, because honestly, it relieves stress on the no-lifers that are gonna be the Gen 1 rankers that are out there. Because right now, in World PvP Phase 2, it's kind of a slash play check. It's who can stay out there the longest and just rack them up, right? But once BGs come out, you're gonna be able to farm honor more efficiently than people just messing around out in the open world. So they're going to be able to kind of control the situation a lot more once BGs come out. But what I was going to say, my point is that we already have this leveling meta that is dungeon leveling, right? Spell cleave, melee cleave,
Right.
people are just going the whole way up, brain dead, together as little groups. And it's fun, don't get me wrong. It's just a very different meta. And then if BGs were to come out, people might be living in BGs. This is potentially devaluing the open world and
Absolutely.
has less incentive to get out there. It was cool having these zones like South Shore and stuff like that be a viable war zone yesterday. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah,
another
absolutely,
instance people can live
Makes
in.
a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people, it's a controlled environment, right? So you don't have to worry about dishonorable kills. You don't have to worry about, Alliance, camping the same people over and over, and their honor is getting, DR and things like that. So you get diminishing returns. So it's definitely a more controlled environment, and you have, I think, a lot of people who are going to want to push for that. Although I do think it's going to be, I think there are a lot of people out there who want to experience this phase 2 as much as they can, right? So I think there's a little bit of push each way. I personally, I see the charm in this right now, the phase 2, but I think there are a lot of people out there who really want to, especially on servers right now that have this really bad mix with Horde versus Alliance. You're going to have a lot of people wanting to push for BGs, but I don't know. What do you think, Kargoz? Would you like to have 2 to 3 months of this, or would you rather have BGs come out sooner?
Man, I'd rather have BGs come out sooner.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's tough though, because, and again, this is gonna tie into the secret sauce topic later, but you could ask me the same thing about melee cleaves and spell cleaves. Like, do I think it's in the best interest of the game? Maybe not, but I enjoy it immensely. Like, I enjoy doing the spell cleaves. It's a lot of fun. I guess it's not a perfect parallel. I'd like BGs to come out, because then you have some kind of structured PvP content. You have the ability to, if you're a decent player, right, you have the ability to, like, differentiate yourself from the masses, right?
Right.
If you're a decent player, you have the ability to get in there and farm honor more efficiently as a function of skill, more so than time played. Now, there's always going to be that slash play check, right? So I'm not saying it's some bulletproof thing, but right now, it kind of feels like someone who has a lot more time than you is just going to be more successful than you in that system. But on that same note, I don't think people should look at the rank 14 PvP system as some huge indicator of skill, per se. But you still got to respect it, though. Yeah. You still got to respect it, because you put that time in, you're going to be pretty good at PvP if you just put so much time in. Yeah.
And you have the gear now as well, which makes a huge difference, So, but yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that there are a ton of people out there who are, great PvPers, that they just don't have the time to do it. And, and I know for a fact there's a lot of people out there who have the ambition to be a rank 14 player and are gonna give up halfway through and say, fuck this is ridiculous. I don't think a lot of people who either haven't played vanilla or, haven't ranked up realize just how much of a commitment it is to try to get to rank 13, 14. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of people can rank up and how many people will be able to rank up. If we can get people to have enough time to rank to 14 before BGs come out, that would be insane. That would definitely be insane.
Do you think anyone could rank to 14 though? If it comes out within 2 months.
I think it takes minimum like 3 months to get 14.
Yeah,
and if you're bracket 1 every week, someone in the chat, it's a simple math. Someone's gonna know. If you're bracket 1 every week, what is the minimum amount of time it takes to get 14?
It's got to be like 2.5, 3 months.
Yeah, probably. I think it's 2.5, 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if people are gonna be able to get bracket 1 like that with just world PvP craziness. Right. Maybe it's possible. I know some non-stop people going super hard. Multiple ways of building that card too. I know some of the rogues like Sasuke, who's going hard, trying to go be a Gen 1 ranker. He's in the cities as a rogue, trying to get those juicy 200 honor kills, killing people in Ironforge. People are honor trading, apparently. Some people were messaging me saying, like, they have alts or friends or whatever, and they're just heading out to weird low-pop zones and honor trading kills back and forth. That's a little disturbing, awful. But, it is what it is.
That's like, what's the fun in that, dude? I mean,
Yeah.
That's stupid if you ask me.
So that's going on right now. Predictions of the meta right now. So right off the top, yesterday we started off our day at the Dire Maul flight paths. We had a couple cams out at the Feathermoon Stronghold dock, so we're keeping an eye on Alliance moving towards Dire Maul from that dock, if you know, on the western coast of Fairless, and then we were posted up as a small little kind of squad-sized element at the far east, right on that Thousand Needles flight path. Very few Alliance were coming in there. A few were trickling in. Rise made an appearance and wiped us one time, and we clapped them back. But there wasn't too many people around Dire Maul. That was surprising to me. I thought there would still always be this good amount of people in Dire Maul just because it's the best way to make gold. You need buffs there. You just need to be in Dire Maul. Barely any people at Dire Maul. But I think that part of that was the hype of Phase 2 just launching. People are out there in big death balls, going to South Shore and Hillsbrad, going to BRM. They're hitting up those spots for PvP. My point is, where I'm going with this, is I think as things return to a little bit more normalcy in the coming days and weeks, and the hype of Phase 2 normalizes a little bit, people are going to hit back at Dire Maul, especially because people are going broke with all these consumables, and it's going to become a little bit of a better spot to camp out.
Yeah, I think Dire Maul is like one of the spots where I just got into some PvP right now. Dire Maul is one of those spots where it's just like there's gonna be constant, fucking shit happening. Black Rock Mountain, same thing. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. So just running around right now, and here comes 4 Alliance, and like I was just thinking to myself while you're talking, I'm like, man, is like, because I was thinking to myself, like, Rise has been like only one of the premier guilds that I've seen that have been coming out here and doing it. Now I just just saw that no, there's more. There's other guilds out here doing it. So yeah, I think if you know where to go and you can hold up in these spots really well, you can do pretty good. All in all, right now, I'm going to say this, though. I'm having fun. I don't care if I'm dying over and over again.
True.
I don't care if I'm only getting a little bit of fucking honor or whatever. Like, I love to... I hated this, like, little stale, like mate that we have where, oh, you see Alliance, don't engage them because what's the point? There's no honor. And now that's over. Right?
It's so
that's
true.
over. Every time you see Ally and they are, at least green, you're going to kill them. And I love that, right? So it makes the game feel alive.
And let me tell you something too. We've been sorry, Dunedain, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say, does that open is that the answer to why the world died at a certain point? Because that's one of the big critiques to World of Warcraft in general, that the world in the new versions, or since TBC maybe even, is not very alive. Is that just because BGs came out?
You're asking why the world isn't alive in retail?
Yeah, in retail, in TBC, in Wrath of the Lich King, whatever expansion, basically, since
it's got to be a combination of a bunch of things,
came in. Yeah.
Dungeon Finder, Raid Finder.
If you see it right now, yeah. And also, what you said about the BGs being an instance place, I can see it's happening again in vanilla.
Yeah.
So one thing that, just to give transparency into our own guild, Invictus on Scarum, and some of you guys might be feeling this in your guilds around different servers right now. We've had MC on farm since like week 2, right? So there's no progression there anymore. We have multiple raid teams. You have 5 raid teams. You have Sidewinder, Black Mamba, King Snake, Cottonmouth, Copperhead. They raid every week. They clear out the content every week. We're seeing more and more people just kind of raid logging. You log in. I've been raid logging. I've been on my Rocky Balboa shit recently. But people are raid logging a little bit more. They have been kind of falling out of the pack a little bit. Like the Discord has gone down a little bit, and people were kind of playing a little bit more casually. Where I'm going with this is that yesterday with Phase 2, we saw a massive influx of people again. Everyone was brought back together with PvP. We had multiple raid groups out there doing their thing. People were excited again. They had to jump in their step again. And it was good to see. Some people I hadn't talked to in a minute. It even brought me back because I've been doing other stuff, right? And played all night with them. We were laughing, and yeah, it was great. I had a great time, and I think it's revitalizing WoW a little bit.
I'm smiling right now, and I just got killed by 40 people. It's a whole raid group chasing me around DM for like a good minute.
Oh, really?
They finally adopted me. but it's just I don't know. I can't help but smile about it, dude. It's just like I like seeing this shit. I don't know what it is, man. Like I'm just fucking around right now. Like my character, I don't really care what's going on. So I'm like, it's just fun. I'm having a lot of fun. So even if I'm getting camped right now, whatever, it's nice seeing the game in a new breath. It's just like the heartbeat is pumping right now.
You love to see it. Some of that juicy tension between the Alliance and Horde is coming to the forefront.
Before we said, I think Phase 1 and Phase 2 is the phases we are the most excited for. Yeah. So that comes true now. Yes.
So some people have been mentioning in the chat recently in the past minutes that they are getting very frustrated leveling in Phase 2. And yeah, that's no surprise. You've been saying that for months, dude. You got to get to 60 before Phase 2 because that's when it's all going down. What I will say to that is it will get a little bit better, like in a couple weeks. So it's not GG, but you can solve this by dungeon leveling. That's what I was saying. Go into instances, chill there with 4 people that you like their company, and just hang out and kill stuff over and over again. Reset the dungeon. It's not that serious. I would take player over class. More often than not. Like, yeah, it's great to run a perfect spell cleave or a perfect melee cleave, but ultimately you just want to be around people you can stand being around for a long time, and just get the 60 in dungeons, man.
So I guess you can still try and level to 47.
47 and just end there, yeah, right? Just stop there.
You're still getting killed, though. You're still getting killed, man.
One thing that's happening that's really cool right now, apparently, there's a group of 25 Night Elves, all in shadow form, outside of Camp Mahache and Paralis. They're just all posted up in shadow form, and they're like just waiting until everyone comes, and then they have a whole like 25 people just fucking running into them. So like shit like that. That's crazy. 25 fucking Night Elves like just posted up outside of Kamahache, all in shadow form. Like
you see all kinds of nice screenshots popping up on Discord too.
Yo, one of my favorite things about classic WoW PvP, yeah, the 40-man brawls are nice. They're cool, like I like it, but it's still fun, like when you see these big wars. But my favorite, and it happened to us a couple times yesterday, is when you walk into an ambush, or you're gonna ambush people as a small group. So we're walking to Dire Maul. What we were doing is we were working Feralus back and forth, just running up and back, and we would pop into Dire Maul for a second. And there's a little 5-man alliance ambush. There was night elves all shadow melded. They had their cats all shadow melded. They were up in that little tree. If you can think of that in Feralus, you know that little tree where you can get up on the roots, and they ambushed the shit out of us and just killed the first couple people. Foos went down immediately, and it was so sick, man. It's I don't know. There's so much there that I can't even describe why it's so sick. But you guys know why. When you have those moments, they're so juicy, man. It's like a real firefight. All of a sudden, you just get ambushed out of nowhere. People. It just you have these boring moments riding around on your mount. Just all of a sudden, you're just in a fight, man. And it's great. It's great. I love it. I love the little brawls. I love the brawls.
Dude, this to me is what makes this game feel like this is what I was so much looking forward to, man. Like the game, the fucking heartbeat is here, right? The soul, like it felt so weird on Phase 1, just running by and you're like, oh, what's the point of killing these people? Why bother? Blah 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 blah. Like fuck it, I don't care. Now it's just like the heartbeat's here, dude. It's pumping, and I'm loving it. I'm fucking loving it.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can kill the robot, right? But killing other players and going back and forth and having that rivalry, that's forever. That's timeless content right there. And
Muffin Man, yeah. I'm sorry.
Someone's asking about the keyring.
Yeah,
but
so
the keyring will come with
the keyring developer got fired.
No. That's not true. No, but they say that the keyring is not in the game data, and they need to add it with the patch, but it will come soon.
Yeah, no, I think the keyring developer got fired, dude. He was taking too long. He fucked it up big time. So
I forgot my Onyxia amulet again today. That's not a keyring, but still something I keep.
Can we roll around as a tight little death squad today, Defcamp? I'm kind of feeling that, man.
I'm down, dude. I'm down. Let's do it.
Yesterday we did lots of the 40 versus 40, but I'm just kind of having this realization live on stream. That's what gets my blood pumping, dude. When you're just 4 or 5 of you. out together, and you're just walking through the world, and you run into another like sort of equally numbered group, and you fight it out, especially when the terrain comes into play. Like, I can't tell you how cool this is, what this was, getting ambushed from nowhere. Like, it was clear. World of Warcraft Classic is set up in a way that you can do shit like that. You can legitimately and viably ambush people on roads and stuff. How sick is that?
It's fucking.
I want to roll around with you, dude. Let's do it.
It is such a good feeling when you run into like an equally sized group and it's a fair fight, and it's almost like a fucking 5v5 arena, type feel. And then you come out on top, dude. It's such a good.
Yeah, it's great.
Feeling.
It's great.
Such a good feeling.
It's great. And you
can come out on top if you don't have paladins in your crew. I don't see
that. Yeah.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's the cool thing. So I really appreciate paladins and shamans too, because their classes give the Alliance and Horde respectively that whole look and feel. If you look at I've said this before, you look at the pally buffs, you look at Alliance, you see the holy aura around them, you see the way the buffs look beneath their nameplates, and it all looks very like holy and sanctified. It really sets the tone for the Alliance.
Yeah,
Shamans in the same way with the totems and everything like that, and just dude, I fucking love it, dude. Let's end the stream now. Let's go
crazy
PvP.
though too? Like, I love like that. No one has PvP trinkets right now, and it's gonna kind of be a lot different when people do
next week.
But
though,
like getting locked in a fucking poly or a chain fear is so like it's such a big deal, But dude, come next week and everyone has those trinkets, it's gonna make like things are gonna be completely different. So you could potentially, like polymorph someone and know that they're out of the fight. They like, unless they're gonna use Skull of Pending Doom, which a lot of people haven't been using because it's not in the state that people were expecting it to be. So obviously, if you use it, you gotta take it off right away because it takes so much damage and health off of you. So, but a lot of people aren't using because of that. So it's just a totally different style of play that you see when people aren't using the PvP trinket. So we have another week of that at least, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. One more week, dude. One more week. Almost like a BG, you could say. Yeah, that's kind of true, man. I'm very excited for the BGs. Don't get me wrong. The BGs are gonna be sweet. I can't wait. Okay. Let's see the topic list and keep going here.
Can I just ask a few questions?
Yeah.
Do you guys have on your server? Do you have like the enchanting guy or the blacksmith who can make Lionheart Helm? Do you have those, or is it a list of people who can?
No, well, we have right now. I mean, like in our guild, like Menzerea has like the best enchants, right? He's got the plus 55 healing. He's got spell power. He's got like all that shit. And then we have like I think one person or two people that have, or there's only like one or two people that can do Lion's Heart still. I think right now.
Okay.
So that's still really rare. Yeah.
Exactly what I was looking for. And Mograne, everyone could do everything, but now we have done some interviews on Bloodfang, and it seems to be exactly like that, with like 2 or 3 people who can do those things.
Yeah, dude,
it was one of the things. I mean, that was one of the things before the game launched that I was looking forward to the most. I think I said that I wanted to be the best enchanter on the server and stuff like that. And then you join on such a huge server and everyone can do it. But I thought it was like that in the US, but apparently it's not.
I mean, there are like a couple people out there who have those enchants, but like having that one person in our guild that has that enchant too is really cool too. You know what I mean? So, and I know for a fact that Menzerea probably has. He's in a number. There's only a few people that have all the enchants like he does. So
it's just something I cannot say how it is right now because we just moved, but I'm really excited for the new experience on the new server. Do you guys have any chances on world bosses, or is that not something
we got one yesterday?
Azeroth yesterday.
Yeah, we got Azeroth.
Oh yeah.
World first Azeroth from what I've heard.
You just said that. Yeah, but that's one of the guild groups, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for those too. I'm not sure if we will ever be able to kill one. So, but at least we have a chance now.
Yesterday, for Egregious got it. The crystallized helm, the one that gives like 90 something bonus healing. Yeah, so you got that. It's like
the
nice.
Holy shit! Yeah. That's
so fucking nice.
Probably never have, but I have my tier 2 helm, so why would I want to change that?
No.
Best looking helm in game, right?
I got my tier 2 helm too, but that fucking gem fucking headpiece is like best in slot like forever. It is 90, I think 93 bonus healing, something like that. It's crazy. It's
oh, the crown.
Yeah, the crown, the
yeah.
crown. Yeah.
Yeah, the crown is nutty. You got that right.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
It's pretty sick. I actually wanted to ask if you guys thought that those massive servers influence the game badly, but since you don't experience it like that, it's probably hard to answer. It takes a little bit away from the spirit, I would say.
I definitely would say, yeah. I think it definitely, you know, for me, classic WoW is so much about. We heard it a million times before, the community and the socialization, right? But you lose a lot of that feeling when you have 30,000 people or so on a server, right? It just doesn't
make
feel...
it 50,000, yeah.
50,000, yeah. It doesn't feel like, you know, things don't feel like, oh, you know, you've seen this person or whatever. I mean, yeah,
you're dropping out a little bit, so
it just doesn't have that same effect, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of the things we were looking forward to, have that social aspect in the game, know people on the server, do that farming, be that enchanter, that kind of things. They totally go away, right? So yeah, pretty psyched for the new experience on the server.
So what do you guys think of one thing that I think that a lot of us have you know, had some issues with, and I hope, and I don't know, I've seen a little bit better, but with the server lag, right? I don't know what you guys have seen, and I know Kargoz, you were experiencing this a little bit the other day, but a lot of people that I've talked to, myself included, you know, seem to remember even playing on some private servers and not having these issues at all, or at least if you did have these issues, it just seems like the lag is just a lot.
I do think, I swear to God, I'm not like this is not some Blizzard insider telling me to chill for them, but I do think it got a little bit better. It wasn't as unplayable as it was like a week ago. But yeah, it does. I scratch my head because, you know, you've got a bunch of Russian developers, you know, make this little private server based on a repack, and it's pretty stable versus this modern 2019 infrastructure. I'm not sure. This could be the type of thing that I don't even want to speak on it because I have no clue how this shit works, pretty much. Like
last week, were you there when we did that Blackrock Mountain?
I watched the clips of it. It was just, it was a PowerPoint presentation, like 100%.
It was literally a PowerPoint. Yeah. When I tell you, Kargoz, like, I ran in there and I just started hitting my Holy Nova button, and then I never saw any of them, and I was dead like 20 seconds later, and I don't even know how I died. And I didn't even see the alliance. Like I saw them at one point; they were just sitting there, and it didn't seem like there was that many of them, right? And then, you know, yesterday we go and, you know, you've got like 8 raid groups sitting there waiting for Kazakh. You know, you've got like 2 or 3 alliance ones, and they're fighting and this, that, and Kazakh's going nuts. And the lag wasn't that bad at all. So, you know, whatever they did in the last week, I mean, they definitely did something. I gotta say, it's definitely
got a little better, right?
I think that's more of a US thing. I didn't experience a lot of lag, actually, and the amount of people I saw on the same layer was insanely high. We had a little bit of lag, one lag spike, like 2 hours ago in Onyxia, and that's all the lag I experienced in the last few months. Actually, I only experienced lag on raid on launch day, when the game launched.
Okay.
So we have queues though, but that's I don't know.
Now that Horde have free transfers on Skyrim, do you think there will be any shift to balancing? Yeah, I think. Okay, so yeah, so the Horde have the free transfers, and the Alliance don't, right? Alliance are
Alliance are locked. Yep, it's faction locked.
Right. So, however, though, can the Alliance transfer? My question is, can they transfer from Heartseeker back to Skyrim?
I don't think so. I think it's got to just be a one-off transfer. I don't know if you can just ping pong back and forth like that.
Yeah. It's well, I do know someone who said that they did come back. That they
some people were saying that their transfer was reversed. They tried to transfer and it was pending or something, and then Blizzard reversed it, like declined it or something. That might have been what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah, because someone did say that they were over on Heartsinger or tried to get over, but now they came back. So I mean, that would be a good idea too. But I don't think too many Horde are going to leave Skyrim. In my opinion, at least. Like I know for a fact that, you know, our guild.
Yo, is this faction imbalance surprising to you guys? Though we've talked about this before on GMA. Like when I see the majority of feedback coming from the chat and on Reddit and stuff like that, it does look like unanimously Horde is just like 60-40 or something across all the servers. Again, I'm just shooting from the hip there, but on some of these private servers, I was used to Horde being the kind of the underdog and Alliance seeming so powerful, and now it's the script is flipped. Is this just a side effect of BFA and the current,
I think so. It's a little bit surprising because on Vanilla, Alliance usually was the highest faction, but I think it's probably because of the last, well, basically since BC, Horde was the biggest faction, so it's probably like something from retail.
Kargoz is right, because on our last private server, it was primarily
Alliance, yeah, control, dude. And I always thought the Alliance racials in PvP were so sick, and I always thought that Paladins in PvP were so sick. I was used to for years thinking that, you know, Alliance was the, you know, the normie faction, like the
racials, but the Horde definitely has better PvP racials in mind.
Yeah, I mean the best PvP racials Paladins, but yeah, but
well, Paladins, I mean, well,
Paladins are PvP racial.
Yeah, they're
seriously, yeah.
But however, you know, like, okay, you have Paladins, and you have what, you know, okay, you have Escape Artists, and what else is good in PvP? I mean, okay, Perception is nice, but, you know, having fucking Will of Forsaken, having Stun Resist, having War Stomp, even like Berserking and shit like that, it's just, to me, outweighs all of that, in my opinion. Yeah, Paladins are nice. You can give freedom. You can give bop. But, you know, having a priest are also nice. They have dispels. You have, you know, shields and all these other things.
It's the Paladin dispel too, though. Paladins are just, I don't know, man. Dude,
well, how's the Paladin dispel better than the priest dispel?
You just have another class that can dispel. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
You have another class that can dispel. You have hard shit buttons. You have strategies that are easier to implement and execute.
Yeah, but then you also have
Horde have to play super aggressive, right?
Paladin is just the best PvP healer, so...
No.
Based on my playstyle, I think Paladins are fucking S tier. I love Paladins. They're insane to me, but there were people that are way smarter and more skilled than I am that will make the case for Horde being better, and you can go back and forth on this all day. But I guess my point is, I wasn't expecting the disparity between factions to be this large, and I wonder why. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
The Alliance cities are dope. Dwarves are dope.
They are.
Humans are dope. I like male night elves look cool to me. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I think they look cool, man. They're kind of jacked, like they're kind of tall, like they look cool in armor. Like I don't know.
You are going ally, aren't you? Huh?
No, that's not the announcement. I mean, I played ally first. I will just say that.
So did I. And I'll admit, I'm another person who I think Paladins. I don't think anyone in their right mind can deny how good Paladins can be in many situations, right? However, you know, like. I play Priest, right? Now I will defend Priest till the end of days on how amazing they are in PvP. Having an offensive, defensive dispel, right? Shamans can only purge offensively. You know, being able to defensively and offensively dispel, being able to you have Hand of Freedom as a paladin, but I can dispel, you know, a warrior over and over and over again, and a paladin can give Hand of Freedom once every 30 seconds, whatever it is. You know, I mean, yeah, that's nice, but I'd rather rely on that dispel every time. I'd rather rely on a fucking, you know, priest giving power infusion to a mage or an elemental shaman. I'd rather rely on, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, you know, Bop can be great too, but Bop can be purged and dispelled. So, you know, I will say though, however, like when you have a battle and you have the ability for one of those people to be able to put an immunity on them and essentially take themselves out of the fight, you can't really put a stat on that. That's just buku crazy insane.
It's insane. I mean, you have no pushback too, man, with the holy talents, dude. You just flash a light, people. Yeah,
for insane amounts.
Yeah, paladins are sick, dude. I don't know.
I mean,
you're just so resilient to all incoming attacks, and that's the major difference. I think.
I just like relying on myself, like having I have a shield for myself. I have, I also have 70% pushback just from healing focus, right? Then I have 100% chance to gain from martyrdom if I'm crit. So, and then being also to be able to fear if someone's on me and be able to shield, and also to be able to do all these offensive things. I think overall, like when you look at offensive and defensive, I think for me a priest is better.
Priests are more offensive position. For sure, 100%.
Well, they can be offensive or defensive, right? I feel like the power infusion priest is definitely more of the offensive priest, and then you can spec into more of a defensive thing.
But when
it comes to just defensive,
what if you could have both though, Defcamp? What if you could have priests and paladins?
What I'm saying is, I think that's why priests are so much more important than the horde, right? Because you have the option on the alliance to have more shadow priests, because of paladins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. But if you have the option, I would take, 2 priests, 1 offensive with power infusion, 1 defensive. But I'm not saying I'm saying like it being on the horde, right? But I'm not underplaying just how amazing that a paladin can be defensively, purely defensive though.
But Reckoning makes it a little bit offensive too.
Reckoning is kind of scuffed though in real class.
Yeah,
it's kind of. I mean. Paladins, when I see a Paladin 101, I go, hey, look, a free fucking honor kill. It's going to take forever, but look,
when I see Paladin 101, I say, oh, yes, I can't wait to mana burn this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I say, oh, I could be any class. I see a Paladin by himself, and I'm like, ooh, what a nice snack right there. Then you put that Paladin with any other class in the game, and I'm like, well, time to leave.
Especially a Mage. Paladin Mage is so...
I see a Paladin with any other class, another Paladin, whatever it is, I'm like, all right, I'm out, dude. Not worth. Not worth my time, dude. That's Paladin is just insane. Like you don't get that effect with any other class.
If you see a priest 1v1, you're like,
true. Yeah, it's true. I see a priest and I'm like, ooh, I see.
Paladin is really just more of a team play class.
They are very much, yeah.
Probably the best team play class in the game, to be honest.
Yeah, paladins are pretty sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up this secret topic now, dude. It's not even that secret. I've been overhyping it. I've been overhyping it. I actually need my slides for this, dude. I'm gonna look at these slides.
Back to the slides.
Back to the slides.
You got slides for it too?
Sort of. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, man. But okay. All right. Everybody awake? Yo, one's in the chat if you're awake. If you're conscious. If you're another human being. We're trying to have a connection right now. We're trying to connect. We're trying to communicate.
Multiple ones.
I gotta see some ones in the chat. There we go. Thank you, Defcamp.
Oh, it was you, Defcamp? I thought it was Melderon all the time.
He was talking before, too, yeah.
There's some humans, dude. There's some humans in here. You love to see it. Look at all these beautiful human beings in the chat. You love to see it. Look how many ones there are. Awesome. Okay, so Classic WoW. Very fun time. Very appreciative of it. It's an amazing community. It's been years in the making, right? Having the time of my life. Peak male performance. No, but it's been really fun, man. It really has. Building the community, building the guild, all of it. It's been great. And I think back though, and I think people have an expectation of Classic WoW, and for me, Classic WoW did live up to that expectation. I'm very happy playing this game. I'm very satisfied. I'm having a great time. I have an awesome community of people, and I'm building friendships that are going to transcend Classic WoW. Even once Classic WoW does resolve or whatever, I'm still going to keep in touch with Defcamp. We're still going to be homies, right? Like, Dunedain and Melderon, all these people, right? All these people are part of the community. So, but when I think back and I think about what could have gone better, right? From what would selfishly I would have liked to see different. And one thing that I've been dwelling on a lot is the leveling meta, okay? And it's not as simple as it might seem. Like, take a second to digest this for a second.
Right.
I want to talk about the implications of the leveling meta being what it was. Okay, so the game came out. We're on launch day. We're a few months back. And people are going about their business. No one knows exactly the best way to level or whatever. We have this whole leveling guide made out. The way the leveling meta evolved was towards this dungeon cleave meta. I participated in it fully and wholeheartedly and had a great time doing it. And in that moment, had a great time, and I could level another character to 60 through dungeons and have a great time again. It's actually really fun. There's a lot of skill that goes into it when you're being really aggressive with pulls and stuff. But with that said, there's a cost, right, to that. And I think some of the things I'm thinking about with the cost of that dungeon leveling is it makes me a little bit incapable of appreciating the game like in the same way that I once did.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm speaking truly and deeply from the heart here. Like when it comes to some of these awesome quests in some of these starter zones, especially the Alliance quest, man, as you're going through Red Ridge and Duskwood and Westfall, like that's the creme de la creme, juiciest quest. You're going through these, you're getting to 30 organically, you're going about your business. A lot of people aren't able to fall in love with that aspect of the game, participate in that aspect of the game, even the play, the music. You hear this humble music playing in the background, right? People aren't able to enjoy this stuff like they once was because of the leveling meta being what it was, and they quickly nerfed the whole raid aspect of it, but it's still potentially an issue, man. Like the entire pacing of content from step 0 to where we are today was altered by the leveling meta. People got to 60 very fast. People got to 60 without the level of hardship that is expected to set the tone for Classic WoW. People were able to get to 60 in instances, and people became more familiar with resetting instances, right? People are running ZF and jumping on a fountain to reset a bunch of zombies and do all this. People are getting in this mentality of knowing how to manipulate instances advantageously, so that when they do get to 60, they look to that and they go, okay, we're at 60, we're going to do instance grinding. I've looked to it. You set the conditions, you get the results, right? People are going to take that path of least resistance, the most advantageous path. And, the open world is devalued from the leveling experience,
Absolutely.
right?
Can I just say real quick?
Yeah,
I 100% and wholeheartedly agree. Something that I know that Melderon wanted to bring up as well, and I just want to say this real quick because I gotta go pee. But you have millions of people potentially, right, who had never played Vanilla WoW before.
Mm-hmm.
They go and they watch someone like Asmongold or whatever, and they see, oh, this is the best way to level. Dungeon grind, do this, and I feel like there are so many people out there who were not so much robbed, but just didn't get that open world leveling vanilla experience that we all had, that helped me fall in love with this game the way I did. And that's sad. Honestly, I think that's sad because there's so much, especially like you said, these iconic, amazing zones that you level through. And there's going to be a lot of people out here who say, who cares, whatever, blah, 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 who gives a fuck, get to level 60, that's where the game is. No, I disagree. I think that 1/3 of this game
is leveling.
Is leveling.
Yeah.
Even half, maybe.
Here's the sticky situation, though. Blizzard's no changes, and they have implemented no changes, and this leveling meta in dungeons could have just been like the most efficient way to level all along. And when I say that, I'm not saying that for everybody. If you are the creme de la creme leveler, you know every quest in the game, you're like a Navik, you're like a Joanna, you're people that have really studied this stuff and they know all the quests. I know a fair bit about quests myself. You can be competitive, and it might even be better to quest, right? And quest to 60. But for the average player, and for pretty much 85, 90, 95% of the player base, the grind is so long and arduous that defaulting to dungeon cleave is just such a safe, measured, good, efficient way to do it that it almost makes me incapable. Like, I feel incapable of just going out there and playing the game and connecting with it like I once did. I feel like I have to fucking multi-box 5 characters in a dungeon. And it's something I'm...
Really? See, I don't feel that. I feel like I can still enjoy the world.
Can I jump in here? Because I'm super glad you bring this up. And I'm one of those persons who did all those long delivery quests from Red Ridge and from the Alliance side. And I did it because I wanted to do it, because I knew how cool it was. And that's partly the reason I leveled that slow. But I think I had like 12 or even 13 days played before I hit 60, so I just played a very long time. But I wanted to say, one of the goals of the guild is also to relive that experience, and with whatever we do, I try to bring that in our guild system. Like I try to bring the hardness of the raids back, which is impossible, but I try to bring some off specs to do that. I want to see a boomkin in every raid, for example. I don't want people to bring all potions and all buffs and all food buffs and all the world buffs. They can do it if they want to, but that's I desperately try to keep it as original as it was back in the day, and that also has been a problem with some guild members, because they want to be really hardcore and they want to try and min-max everything, and because they do it, they expect everyone else is doing it. I think that's something that Kargoz is saying here too. Some people think that you have to do that dungeon method to level because it's the most efficient way, but I'm really trying to do it the opposite way, not the most efficient way, but really just go with it as it used to be, and try to have as much nostalgic fun in that. So I wanted to bring out another point, go even further with this. You say no changes is what they went with, and at this point it's really not that good anymore, because for some things I think they should actually change the game a bit. Because now people discover new things, they discover new meta, they discover new, for example, I'm going to pick up Fury tanking here as an example. Fury tanking, as far as I know, our tanks in vanilla, I was one of them. We used the Fury spec, but we never tanked without a shield. And I think if this was vanilla 15 years ago, I think Blizzard would step in and would nerf something about not tanking with the shield, because it's intended to tank with the shield. It's never intended to not tank with the shield, but it's probably the most efficient way to do it, you see. And there are different
but there's still times to use a shield even right now, right? Like you kind of just have to itemize for you slap it on and off.
But I think what he means is, like, there shouldn't be a time where you even have it at all.
So the thing we can think of future servers that they release. Like, this isn't just the end of classic WoW. They can release future servers and manipulate things a little bit more, still while staying within that no changes realm to set things up for success. But when you're saying all this, Dunedain, I'm actually just kind of having a little bit of a revelation. Like, if you were to min-max life and go through it trying to just be as savage as possible, as competitive as possible, you'd probably either start a company yourself or become an investment banker and just go out there and maybe do whatever it takes, right? You go out there, dog eat dog, scam people, rob people, whatever you have to do to make as much money as possible. But the fact that we're here in GMA and Good Morning Azeroth right now, talking and just chilling, talking about this game, we don't really min-max life, clearly. Like, I don't know, maybe that's too heavy, or not even. Maybe that's just weird. Maybe that's weird. But like, we're talking about this 15-year-old game right now on this like little talk show thing that we're doing here. So, we're clearly not, that ambitious going out there. Like, my girl's out there in SF working, doing finance stuff all the time. So we're kind of living that to a certain extent. When you're saying, smelling the roses a little bit, enjoying life, living life as you go. We're not making a bunch of money. You're going to spend our money and have fun when we're like 65. We're living life. We're enjoying life right now.
I just think that there's different kinds of players out there, Kargoz, and I think you're the one kind of that player that you really see what the min-max is, and you want to try to be the best that you can in that, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But I feel like I'm a little bit more on where Dunedain is here. Like, if I want to level, and I'm doing it right now with like my shaman and stuff like that, I'm doing, and I did it with my priest too. Like, I first of all, I had it, I wanted to level, wanted to ding in Winter Spring, doing quests. I did do a lot of dungeons, and with my alt, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do more quests than anything. And I think you can still do that now. You can still play the game you want to, the way you want to, and not have to adhere to, whatever guidelines or whatever min-maxing shit that people have put out there. You can still play the game you want to and still enjoy it and still be in quotations competitive, or and still have
I don't know.
fun.
I think they're mutually exclusive for me. I think I'm an extremist. How do I just have fun?
That's what I'm saying. I think you're just.
How do I have fun leveling a level 14 in Westfall, killing one mob at a time, playing one character on one account, connecting with the game again? I don't think it's. I don't think I'm capable of it. I think I'm scuffed, dude.
Experienced the other side. Right?
My wires got crossed, dude. Like that's another thing I want to talk about. Multi-boxing. So it's allowed to multi-box, right?
Yeah.
But then where is that line in the sand when you have 40 fucking characters and you have a fucking server room filled with computers and you're soloing MC and killing all the bosses and selling the gear to people to the highest value? Like, where is that line in the sand? Right now, I only play with 2 accounts. I have a mage following my warlock at all times as an inventory slave, feeding me milk, food, and water, giving me portals. That's probably not good for the game, dude. Like, I don't know. I do it because it's allowed. You're allowed to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
You're the kind of person, Kargoz, I know for a fact that, like, if something's allowed, like, I remember, like, it's all or nothing, right? Go all in or nothing. And if you have the option to do it, you're going to do it. But, I don't know. I can, like, go in there and say, yeah, I know that there's this min-maxing quality. Like, I've been to the point, right? And, Kargoz, you do it somewhat with rating, right? Because, like, I've rated in fucking TBC, with, like, back in the day when it was fucking hard. I did mythic rating and all this. And I, coming into vanilla, was going to go and join in the top raid group and all this. But part of me said, like, no, I want to experience this game on my time. Like, I don't have the time to do this and do that. And I actively went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to almost hinder myself in a way, right? And, do it at a slower pace, do it at a more casual pace. Because for me, at the end of the day, like, it's just more enjoyable, and it just works better for me right now with where I am in my life.
But that's what you say there. If you min-max in TBC or retail or whatever version we are in now, that's something you can do because that game is still actively monitored. So Blizzard changes things.
Yeah.
No, but what Kargoz and many other people are doing is they try to min-max something, and they try to find new things in the meta, exploits basically. But Blizzard isn't doing anything because it's no changes. So basically, every exploit you find now can be used without any problem.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is a big problem.
You know what it is, dude? You know what it is? I think it's because I still have something to prove. I think if you really have nothing to prove, and you're super just like, you've done it, man. Like you've achieved it. Like you have that solace. Like then you can just play the game and chill, right? When you're going super hard, people still have something to prove, man. They still have to establish themselves. They still have to show. You have to earn some stripes and show some people.
I think it just has a lot to do with the person as well. Like, I mean, I can kind of understand that, Kargoz, because but yeah, even though I've been there and done that, like on the high end of things, I didn't do it in vanilla, right?
Yeah, but I can.
So part of me wants to do that in vanilla, but
I can be super competitive too, but in a game like vanilla where competitive actually means you have to play the game in a different way than it's meant to be because it's out for so long, that's something I don't really enjoy. If they would actively monitor it, and if they would actively change things and buff and nerf certain things, which I always said they shouldn't do, but now I'm actually I'm actually changing my mind a little bit on that matter. If they would monitor it, I think I would be more inclined to be that competitive guy and to try and find new things to do. But now, like I said, the Fury tanking stuff, it's something I don't like. And I can give another example if you want, like this Paladin or the Feral Druid, where you have to use that, I keep forgetting the name, the weapon from Nomergun.
Manual crowd pummeler?
Yeah, that one, manual crowd pummeler. That's not intended to be so powerful, to be as powerful as it is.
It's sick though, but it makes classes that I don't know.
But that's not intended, so it's cool that someone found it, but after a while Blizzard should say, well, it was not intended.
That's also one of the things that makes vanilla dope though.
I kind of disagree though, because I feel like you should be rewarded for finding things like that to an extent, right?
Yes,
you should be rewarded,
If it was found back in the day, it would have been nerfed, or would have been changed.
What is that one in particular hurt though? That just makes druids better and brings them up to par a little bit more.
Well, it doesn't
That's the
hurt
only ramification of that one.
I know it doesn't
You're just
really hurt
using that
anything. It
example
makes
of,
certain
like,
specs viable, but there are other ways to make those specs viable if they really want to. That's what I said. That's what I mean with it's a steady game, and they don't change it, and that's totally fine. But it makes certain things a bit uncool because you can only basically do it that way. And if you wanted to play Feral Druid different way, you cannot really do it because then you will always be lagging behind.
You can. There are people who don't use Crown Pummeler.
Yeah, but it's gonna be worse, right?
Yeah, it is, right? But like,
I think I found the path forward, dude. I think I found how to find peace, dude. Go to Nirvana.
all I want to say is before you do it, I just want to say that I think part of it to me is why I love this game so much, because there are so many fucking options, right? You don't have to be that person. You can, and yeah, you'll probably be rewarded for it, but you can also join guilds. There are guilds out there that are more casual, that don't rely on that kind of scene, that don't see things that way. I almost feel like there is room for everyone in this fucking game. I don't know.
I need to say something. When someone in chat says I cannot say something is intended or not, but actually I can, because the developer said it wasn't intended. That exact item was not intended to be as powerful.
But at the same time, what they intended to be great about the game is probably not necessarily completely aligned with what actually made the game in reality, right? Like a lot of, I do feel like they stumbled upon a lot of the greatness in Classic, and that not all of it was totally premeditated to the nth degree. They did an amazing job, don't get me wrong, but it was the combined efforts of so many, some of which the developers had no idea the ramifications of each quest or each item they put in, that made it so insanely fucking cool.
That's definitely true.
Yo, this stream is like therapy for me, though. I think I figured it out. I think I just have to clear up the... I have to clear through Nax, because I'm a Nax virgin in vanilla. I never cleared Nax vanilla. With the guild that we started together. Yeah. Clear that out, right? Not get so obsessed or fixated on parsers or whatever. Just go through it, clear that all out. Get to like rank 10 or something in PvP. Yeah. Or maybe hopefully higher. And then at that point, hopefully... you will have earned your stripes and respect and credibility in the community, and you're just going to be able to have that peace, dude. That peace, and you can just go...
So basically, you reach the goals that you set out for yourself.
Correct, yes. Yeah. And then you can rekindle that humble, connection with the game, too.
I like what DG said, though. Like I said, he said min-max mindset, 90% of the pop. Ain't that, and don't give a crap if you're min-maxing your character. I think we do kind of, like, and you said this before, Kargoz, we kind of see things in this echo chamber, not echo, but, where we look at things because we are so used to and surrounded by people that are min-maxing and playing the game at its top performance and this, that, and the other. And a lot of times we don't see the rest of the 90% who are just playing the game at a slower pace and playing it the way they want to. And I think that's what I'm saying, that's still available for so many people. And there are people still doing it. And just the fact that it's known that Mana Crown Pummeler is the best way, for druids to hold aggro and to have threat and this, that, and the other, doesn't mean that you have to fucking do it and join a guild that has that, or join a guild that, all the tanks are Fury tanks and this and the other. Like, are those guilds going to be better at progressing? And yeah, I'm sure they are.
But try to find a guild who takes you as a feral druid when you don't do it. You can join my guild, not anymore because we have a feral druid. But
that's what
it's
I'm saying.
really hard.
I think there are more than you think.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. I guess you're right, honestly. But still.
I think we look at things too much in the mindset of that top 1 or 10% or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
I do think there are a lot of people out there that are still struggling in MC.
Some people are saying, some people are saying the game is too easy. One thing, it's kind of an adaptation of mindset that I never thought of before. That just wait, with BW and all this coming out, right? But with MC, if you're at that tier, if you're playing at that top echelon, I'm not saying that I am or whatever. I'm just trying to provide some feedback here. If you think the game is too easy, perhaps in your mind, change the mentality from just simply clearing MC to clearing MC with as little people as possible and doing splits, right?
Or as quick as you can,
right?
Or
So when you do splits, that means you're taking your raid group, and instead of doing a 40-man MC, you're doing a 20-man MC. Once you keep taking away, you keep stripping people out of that raid, it's going to get harder and harder, and it will reach a point where it's extremely challenging in order to get that job done. And there also is a reward for doing that as well, which is getting more loot for your guild and creating good content, doing whatever it is. So you can, the game is your oyster. The world is your oyster. You can do with it what you will. Just clearing the content.
Limitations to yourself,
Just clearing the content straight up shouldn't be. Well, I'm not gonna say shouldn't. It can, right? Like, play the game how you want, but it doesn't have to be the measure of difficulty. Just simply clearing MC one time, right?
Also, don't judge all of vanilla based on what's out right now. There are guilds that are probably going to fall apart because of the first 2 bosses in BWL. Razorgore and Vale have caused people to fucking quit raiding and it will again. And I'm not saying they're all together horrible, difficult bosses, but it's a clear difference between MC.
AQ too. AQ is the guild killer, man.
AQ, I mean, Cthulhu is going to probably make more people quit Classic WoW than anything else. I don't know, maybe not quit it, but just don't let MC Molten Core, make your whole mindset on vanilla that it's this, it's that. Melderon said this yesterday, and I kind of agree with him a little bit. MC is kind of like LFR. BWL is kind of like normal. Cthulhu, I'm sorry, AQ up to Cthulhu is like heroic. Cthulhu and Nax is kind of like mythic, right? That was his kind of estimate of what it is. But I don't think it's that clear cut or that precise, but the raids definitely do progress in difficulty as it goes on. So don't judge the whole game just on, one raid.
Yeah. Well said.
That's true. Yeah, totally true. I think I sincerely hope that BWL will be a lot harder, and that it's probably hard to say, but I actually hope that it will kill some guilds in some way, because then we have a challenge on our hands. But I don't think it will be nearly as hard.
It's not going to be it's not going to be insanely. I mean, because look at it this way. Still, we 1.12 itemization.
Yeah.
We still have the 1.12 talents.
Yeah.
So things are going to be much easier than they were in Classic WoW. But as we continue in the progress of Classic WoW, things are going to be more and more vanilla-like, right? Because then once you get the Nax, people were at the 1.12 talents. People had this itemization. People had this gear.
That's the first time we will actually have it at the same difficulty, right?
Right. I mean, the knowledge that we have will definitely... Yeah. We'll have more knowledge and we'll have more skilled players. But it definitely won't be as hard as it was back then, for sure.
I think that min-max mentality actually, because we were saying it's probably the top 10%, but I think it really goes down a little bit to the other players too, because it has a huge impact on things like the auction house and the prices for materials and stuff like that.
I can't wait for Nax, honestly. I was just thinking about it.
Also, just to tie it back to the original thing too, because I'm also kind of thinking while talking, this isn't fully fleshed out in my mind yet, but if you imagine a leveling meta that had the dungeon cleaves being at the forefront and most people participating in dungeon cleaves, because leveling efficiently has extremely high barriers to entry. It is very, 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 very easy to level through quests in a super scuffed way because you don't know where to go next. Like, you mess something up, your quest log is full, whatever it is. Even if you're following a guide to the T, it's easy to mess up. Whereas dungeon cleaves, much more straightforward, much more chill. You don't have the PvP risk, all this, right? So if leveling is like that, and then BGs come out and people are sitting in BGs and they are farming everything they need to do. I mean, if they're farming honor most efficiently in BGs, right? And then when it comes to gold farming, they're sitting in instances the whole time too, and you're able to pretty much get every mat you need, I think. Except for stuff like Ice Cap for Mountain Silver Sage. There's some reasons to get out into the open world. But if everybody lives in instances, you're getting closer to that BFA territory. Like, isn't that the thing with BFA and one of the things where There's no reason to go out into the open world. I mean, there's still many things layered on top of the BFA, which just makes it a considerably worse experience overall. But you see where I'm going with it, right? It's just...
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you're still in the open world a lot. It's just that the open world feels more...
If I could go back in time, I'm not saying Blizzard should have done anything differently, but I wish the leveling meta wasn't how it is, dude. I don't know. Somehow,
So,
by some
are you
miracle,
saying
it wasn't how it
that-
is.
Are you saying that then they should change it? That they should make it less
No,
efficient?
I'm not saying that. It's a simple observation. Okay, a new server comes out tomorrow. The server is called... What is the server called? The server is called...
Poop shoot.
Poop Shoot, new server. Fresh, baby. Everybody's excited about Fresh.
Yeah.
If I had to redo it again, do it all over again, given the current meta conditions, I would create 5 accounts. I would go in. I would level them to 8, right? Maybe not 8, okay? If it was a fresh server, we couldn't do it this way, right? We couldn't do it this way. I would level them up, multi-box them, just clap everything in sight, eventually get them up to like 13, go into RFC, go from RFC from 13 to like 19 or maybe 18 or something like that. Then we go SFK, then SFK to SM, do the whole suite of SMs, go straight into Tanarus. After Tanarus, go straight to ZF. After ZF, go straight BRD and live in BRD all the way to 60. That's the entirety of the leveling experience. And then after that point, you take your 5-man Death Ball and you go 5-man Ubers or you go 5-man Strath and... you see what I'm getting with this? So you have this combination of things. That's that. If you really tried to go super hard, big pumper, everything across the board, that's how you would approach it, and that feels very just not good for the game, man. I don't know. Why does Blizzard allow multi-boxing? And this is coming from the perspective of someone who multi-boxes. I multi-box constantly. I don't know. What does anybody know?
I don't know. Honestly, that's a good question. I don't know. I always felt that multi-boxing was kind of unfair because you're allowing now people that have more money and more access to this to kind of have an advantage over others. But all in all, you don't see it that often, right? I don't know.
What, multi-boxing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see it that often.
It's still a rare sight.
True.
So if
but
people
all in
say
all,
it's about
them,
subs,
getting as much money as they can, I guess.
Roland,
I think so.
I
Because
totally
that's
see the
really-
irony, by the way, Roland. Yeah.
What? Say that
He's
again?
saying, do you see the irony in how you don't like the current leveling meta, yet you theoretically say you would do it? Yeah, 100%. Because if that's the most efficient way to do it, like I almost feel like I'm incapable of not doing it that way. And there lies the problem where it's so hard to just play the game in an authentic, enjoyable way and connect with it. Because I kind of want everyone to have those same conditions where if the open world and leveling through questing and all this is the most viable way to level, it makes for a much more enjoyable experience across the board. Well, maybe not though. Maybe it's more hard, but like a more satisfying experience maybe is the right word because it's not always going to be more enjoyable. But again, no changes. Fuck it, no changes. It's just simple observation of how things have panned out.
Really see the so Red Sound says he sees a multi-box like every hour. I don't know what's. I
never
see
see them.
Maybe once a week, maybe.
I never saw any.
Well, I
but
see
if
one every
one
time I
is
see
new,
Kargoz.
so-
I guess that counts. So.
But
But you don't.
I don't think you think it's about the money because it's in my opinion it's quite a rare site, so it cannot bring that much money into the pockets.
Yeah.
I think they should disable multi-boxing. And this is, I swear to God, this is coming from someone who only multi-boxes at this point. I don't really ever log on to Kargoz by himself anymore. And sometimes I feel like, what am I doing right now? Like, I'm just logging on to 2 accounts at the same time on different screens and playing. I'm playing like, a fucking RTS, it feels like sometimes. And sometimes, I don't know.
Speaking of RTS, Age of Empires 4 is about to or at least there's a gameplay trailer.
Dude, when's Warcraft 4 coming out?
I don't know.
By the end of the year, right? So a month and change.
They didn't even really give it. They didn't even give a date at BlizzCon, right? No.
Well, it has to come out, I think, legally by the end of the year, though.
Isn't the problem of min-maxing something Blizzard should police? take Azerite power grinds in BFA, which drove people insane in previous expansions, and Shadowlands, there were weekly caps. So I really like the idea of like Blizzard policing as little as possible. But when it comes to something like this, the min-maxing, I think, like I said earlier, I think that, you know, yeah, it's affecting a lot more of the player base because you have people that stream that are very influential min-maxing, and that goes to other people and then spreads that way. But I don't think there's a way you could police that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm on the same page of policing it as little as possible.
Yeah.
If they, man, I just think they should not allow multi-boxing. It's like,
you think multi-box is that big of an issue?
You are dramatically increased in your power level across the board in every aspect of the game. Gold farming,
Right.
PvP. I pretty much have a mage at all times following me that will just frostbolt shit and Nova stuff when I need to, as I just do my rotation normally, because I pretty much have all my Warlock keybinds as face attacker frostbolt on my mage, and then I have like barrier, Nova, and sheep. Those are the only other things I have really there. So like, more often than not, if I'm just playing my Warlock, there's a mage behind me zapping stuff with frostbolts. You know, you get the you get to sheep yourself in a duel and you get all your health back. You get food and water. You get portals. It's kind of too much, man. But
oh, that's true. I'll be right back, John. I have to go to the bathroom. Sorry.
I guess not that many people are doing it, so I don't want to beat a dead horse here. But
I guess that's because it's quite expensive. So, but I think multiboxing is it's not good for the game, but it's not that much used, so it's not really that important that they fix it, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
There are other things, like what I said about the items not intended being as powerful. I'm thinking that that's more important, but I'm just fine with it not being fixed because it's vanilla, it's no changes. But I would be fine with it being fixed too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. What are your plans for PvP, man? Are you gonna try for 10?
I have no concrete plans for PvP, honestly. I just gonna try and take it as it comes, I think. My plans for WoW in general were making a guild, making it fun and nice, non-min-max environment, and PvP is not really part of any of those plans. But I really want to enjoy the world PvP a little bit while it still can, and I want to do some BGs, and I want to do some ranking because it's something I never really did put a lot of time in the past. I think the highest rank I got was rank 6 or something. So I want to say I want to try to get to rank 10, but I need to see how it goes. If I think it's a little bit dull and grindy, I will probably not do it. If I really enjoy myself, I might go higher than rank 10. I cannot really say it right now.
Yeah, I think 10 is a good... people that they want to PvP, they're interested in PvP, but they don't know if they have all the time in the world to hit a super high rank. I think 10 is a pretty good goal that pretty much most players can achieve.
I think PvP, though, and the availability of world PvP, and we can have BGs and still have some kind of world PvP. It's something that makes vanilla and TBC and Red Dead Lich King even extremely much more exciting than what we have in BFA, for example. There's always that idea that you can be the best of a certain class in your faction or on your server, which I think is really something quite interesting in the game that got lost in the years coming. Someone asks, what do you not find dull and grindy in Classic? Well, actually, I don't think Classic is really dull and grindy at all. There's so much things you can do and so much recipes for professions you can get, or best in slot, or previous gear, or keys, or basically anything.
When I feel like, oh my god, if things are getting a little stale, make it alt, and it completely solves all of that for me.
But yeah, also that, but also in the main, there's so much stuff to do, and it's entirely different than the grind fest that BFA was or is.
Oh yeah,
or was for me.
another really thing that I love about Classic WoW that you really take for granted in BFA is respecking, right? So being able to just change your spec whenever you want really makes you. It's like a poor person doesn't really understand how amazing it is to have money, but so they really love the little things in life, right? So it's the same thing with not having respec, right? Being able for me to go from holy to full discipline to shadow is so much fun and so interesting that you take that shit for granted come BFA. So it's like having less is better sometimes in that sense, at least for me.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with as much as it hurts my wallet every week. I really like the barriers to respecking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, like I complained about it during that panel at BlizzCon, talked about it, but you really get a sense for just how much it makes you appreciate just those little things.
Hold up. Is this okay? Connect the dots here, chat, and you guys. Yeah. In a world where respecking barrier, with low barriers to respecking, like what are they called, fucking multi-spec or dual spec or whatever. In that world, doesn't that devalue the hybrid specs where you can splash into multiple things and do more things? Because my point is, with this barrier, this 50 gold barrier each way, so it's effectively 100 gold to get back to your raid spec or whatever. It makes these hybrids better. It gives you a hybrid bonus, not a hybrid tax. It allows you to have your cake, have the majority of your cake, and then eat a good portion of it.
Dude,
too.
And I'm so glad you're saying this right now.
Yeah.
We were talking about this because we were having this conversation about our raid and how we don't want people to show up in raid group in PvP spec. However, if you are an elemental shaman, a lot of people talk about the hybrid tax. Well, more often than not, I'm noticing a hybrid bonus because you can go into Molten as 3021 whatever elemental spec and show up in that, and essentially is a PvP spec and heal just as good as some of the other shamans, just as good as priests. DPS if you want to, go out in the world in DPS, and also go out in the world in PvP. So whatever people say is a hybrid tax, more often than not, I'm noticing a hybrid bonus. And I just wanted to say that for the instance where, you see people coming into raids in this PvP spec, so-called, which does just as good. Obviously you don't have the better, the healing way and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to chain heal, your chain heal is just as powerful as anyone else's. You don't have Manatide, but who the hell is using Manatide Totem in Molten Core, right? So, more often than not, I'm noticing the hybrid bonus more than the hybrid tax.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And I don't know. The druids are sweet, man. We have
druids too.
We have so in our raid, Black Mamba. We're not the the flagship raid, Copperhead, but we have we have a enhancement shaman doing 500 plus DPS with no world buffs, buffs on bosses. 500 plus DPS, maybe not on every fight, but on some fights he does 500 plus. We have feral druids. Shrifty does. He goes above and beyond, but he's pulling 600 DPS on some fights. He's up there. And, I don't know.
We got Boomkins, baby. We got Shadow Priests. We got Melderon dropping, Melderon's dropping, he's totem twisting, and he's also rocking Annihilator to get those Annihilator stacks. Like, I love it, dude, So, yeah, I more than often, I love that hybrid. If you want to have a lot of fun in this game, I think playing a hybrid is just
hybrid is the big skill, man.
Yeah. Hybrids are awesome, man.
You have so much choice. And yeah, you might not do the most damage. It's like, but look at Kargoz. They got an enhancement shaman doing 500 DPS on bosses. That's insane, dude. You have so much choice. And this game to me is about those choices meaning so much more. So when you have so much choice, when other people, you're really, especially when you're playing, when you're playing against other people, you realize just how important it is to have that, It really fucking is.
Yeah. What would be your second class at 60 Defcamp?
Shaman, by 100% Shaman.
Damn, yeah. Dude, I can tell you love Shaman, man. You really do.
But honestly, dude, I'm really getting... been having a really big hankering to play rogue.
I just wanted to say, I thought you would say rogue.
Defcamp does
I
like
thought you would
play
say,
rogue, but I love shamans.
I thought you would say paladin over shaman even. Is that recently changed?
Now, I do really want to play paladin, but the only reason why Dunedain is because if I play paladin, I'm primarily going to be healing, and right now I want to do something a little different than
makes sense.
Right? So that's
why you have a priest. Yeah,
that's why for me the shaman's going to come up on top because I have more choice with the shaman. Yeah, I could potentially level as like paladin this and another, but I'm mostly going to spend most of my time on that paladin as holy. So the reason why shaman's ranked up so high for me because I have more choice.
What would yours be doing, Dan?
Yeah, we do. We have arcane mages. Yeah.
What's your second 60 that you would main?
Me?
Yeah.
Hunter, definitely.
Hell
it was the class I was still deciding between. I was deciding between Paladin and Hunter until the very end. And even though publicly I always said Paladin, I could just have switched to Hunter on the second game line. But Hunter is really cool. I'm leveling one now. It's only level 19, but I just started, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'm actually trying out the Classic WoW.live leveling guide.
Oh, no shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
I learned a lot. There's so much stuff in there that I didn't know.
A lot.
You love to see it.
Let's put a quick link on there for you guys. By the way, if you haven't checked out Classic WoW.live in a while, you really want to check it out.
That's true. We've made a lot of changes.
Brand new. It's beautiful. It's fucking.
But I learned so much about hunters too, not from the guide, by the way, but from guild members and stuff that I still didn't know after all those years. And I played hunter before, not at max level, but I leveled so many hunters to at least 40, and there's some stuff that I just didn't know about the pets and how to rank up, and the amount of depth in those things.
It's a whole nother world, bro.
Insane, man.
It's a whole nother world.
Yeah, a whole new world literally opens for me.
Cue the music, dude. If you're wondering what site we call home, the site that we put a lot of effort into, and it's a very good community site, just made for us, by us. There's really not
super cool. The leveling guide is really just try it out. It's insanely nice. I leveled without any add-ons with my paladin. I tried to look up the least amount of possible information that I could. So I tried to do it as vanilla as possible, but now I'm enjoying that leveling guide like no other. It's really nice.
So we got a question for you, Dunedain. Someone says, Dunedain, be honest. How many buttons do you use as your paladin in a raid? It's 3, isn't it?
It's probably 2. No, it might be more.
Well, when you include your blessings, it definitely.
I do blessings with pally power now, so that's just that we have flash of light, like 99% of the time, and then sometimes a holy light with divine favor, and that's about it. Bubble if it's really necessary, and
one
cleanse.
Thing I love about a priest is I definitely do have a wide array of heals. If my party takes a lot of damage, I'm using prayer of healing with maybe inner focus. I use renew a lot. Not right now. I was expecting to improve renew with like 750 bonus healing, so my renew was taking for like 360 a tick and was doing a shitload of healing. I have flash heal, rank 7, flash heal rank 4, greater heal rank 4. Greater heal rank 1, greater heal rank 4, heal rank 1, heal rank.
You have to down rank. I just use max rank flashlight.
So I have a bunch of different ranks of different heals, power infusion, shield. I'm shielding tanks a lot on certain fights, on certain hits. So I love the healing style of priest. You have so many different options. You have absorbs, and honestly, guys, I've been noticing more. A lot of people always say, "Don't use shield on this, like the other." When you're raiding, man, like especially on like Onyxia, and like to be a good healer. Especially as a priest, you need to learn how to be a preemptive healer and know when an attack is going to happen, and either pre-shield or have that heal ready to go. And add on guards about to blow up. Have that rank 1 greater heal ready to go. Shit like that. Being a preemptive healer is the best way to be the best healer you can be.
Hell yeah.
I got to say though, it's not because I primarily spam Flash of Light that it's not enjoyable, because it's really enjoyable actually to do that. And as a guild leader, it's also quite nice that you only have to do that, because then I find myself looking at 1,000 different things, and then you do the master looting and the DKP stuff, and it's nice that it's not too complicated. But
Right.
even without being that guild leader, I think it would still be a lot of joy just spamming that thing, never go do the highest healing. I personally don't do the highest healing because other paladins do, but still, without too much effort, you're up there. And it's an important role to fill.
I had a question for you, Kargoz.
What up?
You have experienced the game a lot, right? But I have never even heard of you ever thinking about playing anything other than a DPS. Have you ever thought about possibly playing a healer?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
I just it's something that I see you such as like.
Yeah, I would play a paladin. Yeah.
Okay.
I would play paladin. Paladins are just so sick, dude. If I was playing, I'd probably. If I wasn't playing warlock, I'd probably play paladin.
Okay.
Paladin is just insane, dude.
I would
it suits
like
my
to see
playstyle a lot. I have to say.
Yeah, I would really like to see you.
Yeah.
Heal.
Nah, dude. When we do alliance, I'll
see
go
what you think
paladin.
about it, like healing in a even in like a PvP sense. You know what I mean? I wonder how much you would like it.
Yeah, I don't have too much experience on the PvE healing side. I healed on a shaman alt and like Wrath and healing raids and stuff like that, but never really got too much momentum with it. Never became some healing god or anything like that. But that's still something I have left to sink my teeth into. I'd be excited to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Get your guidance on it.
Daznar said knowing when to pre-shielding is key in a small scale PvP and PvE boss fights. Absolutely, dude. And then DG Arwar says, follow-up question: if I could promise you a Sulfurous would play Enhancement Shaman, abso-fucking-lutely.
Promises Sulfurous. Goddamn.
Fucking yeah.
What's up, Resiah? Stopping in, Resiah the Ravager. Fucking OG in there, dude. Good to see you, brother.
That's one of the goals for vanilla. Get that hammer.
Oh, you gonna get it, Dunedain?
I should get it.
Oh,
yeah, I have
man.
never dropped. But yeah, we'll see. I only have 3 Ignates right now. It's a start.
Oh.
All right. You guys want to wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay. We just hit the 2-hour mark. So I also want to quickly say, in 3 hours' time, I'm going to have another stream. It's going to be a PvP show. We're going to give it a shot, kind of a pilot, and it's going to be with some big brains, much larger brains than myself. We'll be talking about PvP and on a much more like just kind of in-depth level, like kind of strategy level, fielding questions, doing stuff like that. So stay tuned. It'll be in a couple hours, 3 hours from now, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific time. Stay tuned for that. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. You guys know where to find these guys by now, right? If not, maybe you can drop your links in the channels. Defcamp's already in there right there. Dunedain, he's on Bloodfang now if you want to play with him.
Indeed. Yeah, our guild is pretty full, but I don't know what will happen now with the transfer. I've seen 80 people transferred already, 81 right now, so that's good. But we will probably need some new people, and if not, you're always welcome as a social, of course, to hang out with us and do the occasional raid if you have a spot. Do some PvP. This is my channel. So
there it is, Dunedain the God.
I didn't upload the latest GMAs because of the health issues, but I'm going to do that maybe this weekend. So you will you can expect all the episodes and something more too in the near future.
All right.
Sounds good. Any last words?
Just keep on and grinding and stop by Defcamp Melderon whenever.
Yeah, probably some PvP later tonight too.
I'm trying to stream a lot more.
Yeah.
Guys, so like I don't know, we're both kind of slacking a bit there, but I'm starting to be streaming at least 3-4 days a week now, so back up to that.
Before we leave, can we get just a big round of applause in the chat for all of Melderon's contributions in today's episode?
Yes, thank you so much,
the voice
Melderon.
of our generation. Melderon, we really appreciate you here, bud. Yeah, made definitely He definitely moved the needle in GMA 33,
Yeah.
so you love to see
He was
it.
in deep thought.
He was
Oh.
Melderon, any final words, Melderon? No? Oh, all right. Well, let's wrap
That's
it
some
up.
great advice, man. Thanks for that.
Appreciate it.
I had a blast again. Thanks a lot for having me.
Hell yeah, man.
It's really nice.
Till next week on GMA 34. Take it easy, guys.